Today in the video, I'll talk about the main and basic aspects of working with Procreate for tattoo artists and beyond. And at the end of the video, I will give you a very cool brush. Let's not waste any time, let's go. Let's go step by step. This is the creation of a canvas. I work with large canvas formats. It's more convenient for me because there's less pixelation and the image quality is much better. And if I suddenly feel like it, I can easily print it in good quality on some poster or canvas. Let's say we chose this canvas size. And right away, in addition, we will choose A4. So, we choose the A4 size. This needed for further printing sketches. Also easy to organize all canvases in folders. So, we hold down the canvas. We hover over another one, release, and a folder is created. Then, to add another canvas, we simply take the entire folder and hover it over a new canvas. Voila, all our canvases are in one folder. To remove a canvas from the folder, we do the opposite. We take the canvas, hold it, and drag it into the stack field, and it exits to the general space. We release it, and it stays outside the folder. We created a canvas for printing, which is A4. Why do we need it? This canvas is convenient for printing large format sketches, such as for the back or arm. If, for example, our sketch exceeds the size of A4, we can confidently use this method that I will now show. Here, we have added our sketch. Now we need to increase the canvas size. We go to Settings, Canvas, Crop, Parameters, and increase the canvas on one of the sides. We get 210. To double it, we need to multiply by 2. We get 420. We enlarge our sketch. We leave it this way. Then we proceed in the same manner, trimming and returning to our previous settings. Done. Now, just save this particular fragment, rewind back, then gently move our sketch to the other side, and then we return to the cropping again. Now we save this fragment and continue in the same way. This way, we print all the pieces of our large-scale sketch and then manually tape them together. We transfer the stencil and then apply it to the person. Now I will show you how to make one grid cell on our canvas in Procreate equal to 1 centimeter in real life. We go to the settings, again to the canvas, guide, edit guides, and here there is a grid step. We select the grid step, choose centimeter, set it to 1 centimeter, done and done. Now each cell is equal to 1 centimeter in real life. This is very suitable for those who make inscriptions or need precise accuracy in printing sketches. Just estimate how many centimeters you need on the person, set up such guides, and calmly print the sketch in the required size right away. Now it is immediately clear that our virtual grid cells actually correspond to centimeters on the ruler. Also, having a reference is very helpful in the work. It is located at the host reference construction site. We have an additional window opening. In it, we tap on the image and import the image we need. From this image, we can use the eyedropper tool to pick any color and then immediately paint it into our sketch. You can also do this in another way, for example, by taking photos and simply placing them on the side. In this way, it will serve as a reference for us, which we can rely on, look at, and draw from. We can't pick the color we need with the eyedropper tool. We should position it since I'm right-handed and would place it under my left hand. But in principle, this will do for clarity. Also, while we are here, we can immediately go to colors and create our own palette. We carefully select the palettes and simply copy this drawing here, and precisely. And it breaks down into all the various shades that are present in it. For some, this might be an indispensable tool in their work. Or we can take a different approach. Click on the plus sign to create from a photo, select the photo we need, and our palette is created from it. Also, a reference is indispensable when we work on a 3D model because when we switch to the 2D layer, we need to observe all changes on the 3D model. If we start erasing something here, it will immediately be reflected on the 3D model, or if we add something. It will also be displayed on the 3D model, so we won't need to turn it off and on. These unnecessary actions are not needed. At this point, the reference saves us a lot of time by helping us keep track of various changes during the sketching process. These tricks are, of course, indispensable in work, or at least they are very helpful. But there is one more aspect, which is presenting the sketch to the client. If you have drawn the best sketch in the world and think that the job is done, I must, of course, disappoint you by saying that the job is not done and you still need to figure out how to sell your sketch to the client. To sell a sketch to a client, there is just one rule, and it is very important. The client needs to associate this drawing with themselves or be able to visualize it on their body, because many people don't care about the image on a tablet or the internet until they see how the same image looks on a specific part of the body. Then they won't be able to associate themselves with the image because there will already be an example of how it looks and how it fits into the body's composition. There are two possible ways this can unfold. The first step is, of course, to invite the client for a consultation, and during the consultation, try on the sketch, print different scale options, and then try them directly on the client. In this scenario, the important resource, time, is spent because the consultation might end up being fruitless. The client could take your work, the printouts, and disappear, saying they'll think about it, getting the tattoo done by another artist. Just kidding, but there's a grain of truth in every joke. A grain of truth. You can do everything remotely. Here, a 3D model with the correct layout for sketches will help. On the model, you can easily place the sketch at the scale you need. You can make a dozen different variations if you want, and it will only take you about 5 minutes. Then you can immediately send all these drafts to the client. Or you can simply advertise the available sketch. And this sketch will have a very presentable look as a 3D model. The advantages of a 3D model include saving your time. And another major advantage is that no one will steal your sketch because it will already be on a 3D model and highly distorted. Others might get inspired by it at most, but they won't be able to steal it. I know that among us there are some old school folks, of course in the good and kind sense of the word, who still photograph their sketches at an angle. I assure you, these sketches are very easy to correct, very easy to distort, and can be easily tattooed on another person. But that won't work with a 3D model. There, you can only really get inspired and that's it. You will find 3D models with the correct layout for any sketches and body parts in the description. And now, as promised, I will tell you about the cool brush. I created a brush that desaturates all the colored elements. So, we select this brush, set it to either white or black, it doesn't matter, and simply draw with it. And wherever we use this brush, our drawing gets completely desaturated. If we go beyond the boundaries of the drawing, it will draw in dark. If we draw in white, it will be white. The main thing is not to go beyond the boundaries of this drawing. We simply desaturate it in the areas where we need to. I think this is also a very functional feature because we don't need to take a section, cut it out, duplicate it, then go here, then adjust the color, then the saturation, and remove the saturation. We can just take the brush we need and very precisely, very detailed, work on a specific area calmly. You can find this brush on my Telegram channel. There is also an indispensable thing, like another reference, but not the reference that was before a new one. So, we have just drawn our sketch in lines, then we go into its settings, simply click on reference here, then create a new layer and simply fill our areas with any color in this new layer. And thus, our layer with our outlines does not get deformed, does not get colored, nothing happens to it. We work absolutely calmly in a completely different new layer. You can change any colors at any time without any problems. This way, our outlines will not change, they won't change color, we won't accidentally erase them, nothing will happen to them. In other words, we are working on a completely different layer that does not affect our main layer at all. Now, the next feature is preparing the transfer right here, and it is divided into two parts. The first part is working entirely in black and white without any shadow transitions, just a regular black work or ornamental design, or something else where a solid black color or any other solid color predominates. For this, we create our sketch. In this case, I chose a random inscription and calmly go to the curves. And simply set the curves in this position. That's it, our transfer is ready. This applies to absolutely any sketches that are simply monotone. If we already have some colors, we will simply lose all the transitions and so on, because this method only works on the outline, only on the contour of a black object or any other colored object. The main thing is that it should be monotone. The second option is more suitable for realism and where there are colors or gradients. We import our sketch, make it completely black and white, then duplicate it, create a difference, apply Gaussian blur, and blur it to a degree that we deem acceptable. Essentially, you can already work with the sketch, but you can also refine it further if you prefer, in order to achieve the desired result. That is, again, we start with our own style, then we go to curves, and in curves, we can also work a little to make it more contrasted so that we have less noise. But this requires sitting down and finding the perfect balance for each sketch individually. However, in general, you can already work with this. Now I will tell you how to quickly make any sticker from your sketch. We import the image into Procreate. Important thing is to make sure the image has no background. Duplicate the image. Go to its settings. Alpha channel block. Then fill the layer. Fill the layer. Select the alpha channel block, then go to Gaussian blur and apply Gaussian blur to about 10%. Remove it, then click on the setting and choose color fill and fill with color. Increase it a little more. For example, I catch the edge when it doesn't fill completely, and then I rewind a bit. Basically, I set these values, and that's it, our sticker is ready. Then we simply merge the layers with 2 fingers and it's done. If, for example, we need to delete something, we go back to the automatic selection and easily change the color to black, select it and change it. And again, we can indeed regulate this function very well with this action. I will undo, select again, undo some more, reduce this value, and calmly select the unnecessary color fragments. By the way, this is very convenient to do on the latest iPad models because they have a targeting feature. If you can see it on the camera, I can see where my pencil will touch the screen. It's like working calmly with a targeting system. I hope this video was very useful for you. Check out these videos, they will be interesting for you as well. Hugs to everyone. Bye.